Oh, wait a minute, I was looking, sorry, I was looking at Portland. I didn't realize.
Correct.
that
Portland,
he's-
don't get charged for that. You have to pay like $5 if you want to get a dehumidifier to it or something like that.
Leaves is free, no charge. Brushes up to $25. Oh, that's green.
And the same thing, you know,
Where's the town? We better digest this thing.
well, I guess we'll have to go through it and then just come back with
Yeah,
questions.
would it be easier if, you
Yeah.
know, if members have questions throughout the 2-week interim period, if you let me know and we can, you know, have whatever arranged for the meeting. And then, if you'd like to discuss it again at your next meeting, we'll do that.
That's good for me.
So when would you need any suggestions that they might have or questions?
The end of next week would be best.
The end of next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a 3-week period of
3
time?
weeks?
Yeah,
I
the next
guess.
meeting is not till October 14th because of the way.
So then it,
Oh, okay.
so then
Well,
I'm not as
2 weeks.
concerned now as I was concerned when you said the end of next week, and then we meet the following Tuesday, so.
You could give me 2 weeks.
But I started bunking in my head, and I pictured the calendar, so. Okay, so a week from this Friday will be the day for, the last day for submitting any thoughts, any questions, et cetera, regarding fines and fees. Thank you very much. Any further comments before we move on? It doesn't appear. Town manager's report. Wow, you've got a number of things to chit chat.
Thank you. Yeah, we have been working hard at the hiring process for the Park and Recreation Director position, which is currently open. Pleased to report that we are down to 2 finalists, and we'll be interviewing them. I actually interviewed one of them today, and working on setting up the second interview with the other individual. So I'm hopeful that maybe in about sometime in the middle of October, we should be able to have a finalist. So. In terms of the radio tower, I just wanted to bring that to the council's attention. I know while I was away, you probably received an email from Chief Cox in regards to the radio tower and the structure of the radio tower behind Town Hall. He has reached out to all of the different forms of first responding services, and basically the tower is fairly important to the operations of our community, and for everybody from Public Works all the way to the fire department, EMS, and PD. So I'm looking for a recommendation from them as to whether we need to actually just decide to replace it, or if there's something that can be done in the interim to keep it standing and make it a little bit more sure, so it doesn't come down and we can get somebody to climb the tower to put up the additional needed equipment. So I'm hoping to have that information for you shortly.
Can that equipment be installed by the fire department instead of climbing the tower? I mean, we got a pretty good piece of equipment there and get pretty high up in the air.
You can't have the fire department probably do it. If anything, they can bring a bucket truck in to do it.
Not tall enough, but our ladder, you can't go up our ladder. It's gotta be safer than climbing that tower.
Well, yeah. I don't know if anybody's going to be willing to climb the
That
tower at this
doesn't
point.
have a good working platform to work off of to do something like that anyway.
Yeah.
Neither does the tower.
Yeah, they've been talking about a bucket truck, most likely, so. But we need to figure out if there's a activity we could do in the interim to make sure that it doesn't come down, is kind of more or less the concern. We did have a meeting of the Capital Committee this last week. They have identified October 2nd for another Capital Committee meeting. That'll be a meeting to get together with the town staff and the Board of Ed to discuss kind of this upcoming year's capital. With the approval of the capital policy at your last council meeting, we're already behind on the timeline in that policy, so we're going to be working on trying to catch up over the next couple of months. That meeting on October 2nd will kind of be the first meeting for all the staff and the capital committee to really kind of discuss, you know, what is capital going to look like? What is the dollar amount of what we hope capital should be this coming year, and kind of try to work it out from there. So that'll be a good meeting. We've also started on our annual report, so the Board of Ed, the town, and all the town departments are working on currently putting together the annual report. Hopefully, we should have that out in a couple months. I think that it worked out really well last year. We used a graphic designer to help us get that together in a really visually pleasant manner, rather than just town staff sticking it together in a Word document, so.
So you're looking to have something for by the 1st of December?
Definitely by the 1st of December at the latest.
Okay.
Finally, I've identified that we're gonna be doing a coffee with the manager, just like we have meet the manager. I'm gonna be rotating to the different coffee houses in town in the morning, setting up times when I'll be there, and be available for them to meet, talk, share ideas, concerns, questions, comments, any of that.
Is
More
the
than
manager
welcome.
buying?
He might be. You'll have to attend to find out. How's that?
Do you need an allocation for a hard hat?
Probably a bulletproof vest. Finally, I just wanted to remind everybody about the tri-board meeting on October 7th. That's going to be where we review Connecticut Natural Gas and their proposal to the town for their expansion. I think that's going to be a very important meeting. We've invited a lot of people from different boards and committees to participate as well. It's going to be a project that'll take the entire town to actually participate in.
And that will be where?
October 7th,
High school
at the high
library.
school library. Finally, a couple other things under other I wanted to report to the council. Mr. Sissick got me a little bit more of a firmer number in terms of the local road project. Currently, at this point, we are running, and you gotta understand, we're not complete yet for the season, but we're about 6.2% over budget at this point. And then also, in terms of buoys within the lake, we had DEP to town on Friday. We took them out on the lake, showed them the 6 locations where we've applied for buoys, and they approved 4 of the 6.
Oh, so the rocks weren't there or whatever?
The 2 that they did not approve actually ended up being too close to shore, and they will not approve the buoy to go within a certain range of shore, because they believe that you're not, my understanding is boating rules say you're not supposed to go over a certain speed in your boat when you're so close to shore.
200 feet.
Yeah,
Okay,
so.
so we're getting 4 new buoys.
There will be 4 new buoys. It will take approximately a month for them to approve those permits still.
So that'll be next summer.
So the lake will be frozen by the time we
Yes.
get them.
Perfect. On the road project, I know I'd asked, and I think you sent an email to the effect that Colley Brook was going to be paved. I'm still concerned that I don't think the residents, do the residents really know that the entire thing is planned to be a paved road going through?
You know, I wasn't here when the project was approved. I do know that there was a public hearing, I'm sure, as well as a town meeting. Outside of that, I don't know what each of those residents.
Was
those questions
there
about.
action by the council to approve the list of roads that were being paved?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there were.
You know as well as I do, reading that road thing, you know, you got 0.2 on this and 0.6 on this, and, you know, 1/8 of 1% on this. The average layman could not say, we're going to construct a road that doesn't exist based on a 0.2, 0.6, or 0.8. So I just wonder if there was any outreach to the residents to let them know that a unimproved road that has been, existed in the town for all these years is now going to be an improved road. Whether it was approved, not approved, I just think it would be something decent to reach out to those people to even see. Look at what we had with Long Hill when they tried to even pave it. There was, you know, all kinds, they did not want it paved, they did not want it improved. There was other people that came in, they said, we're on an unimproved road for a reason, we don't want it. And when I see that, and especially if we're planning to spend money, we're over budget, why not ask these people if they even knew that it was gonna happen?
We
I
could send a
don't
letter
think
to
it- I
everybody
don't
on
think
all the
it's,
roads for
You know,
future paving on the local road project, if you'd like. I don't know what the,
well, I think we should let them know that they're gonna have, you know, a fully paved road on an unimproved road that they've lived on forever.
Is that a project for this year? Colin?
I think it's partially gonna be this year and partially next year.
And are there
Was-
parts of Colley Brook that are paved?
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
Are the parts that are paved the ones that are being addressed this year, or am I
No,
just
the
hoping
whole
for?
thing,
Well, that's not what I just heard.
No,
according
I
to the
think
project.
a portion of it's gonna be done this year and a portion of it's gonna be done next year. Which portion, I don't know.
Did this occur when Collybrook was paved from Wapawag side in? Because for a long time, that was unimproved also, all the way up to Reuben Science Junkyard.
I guess my thought is, when I was looking at these, we're actually creating more paved roads in town. You know, here we are, we're over budget, we have all these things that are actually, we're getting federal funding on the unimproved roads, they're maintained on a regular basis. So we're gonna give up the federal funding on the unimproved roadside and spend a lot of money to create a road that has never existed. Do they even want it? Is it a waste of money? Is it something that we couldn't put a letter out to the people and say, hey, do you know what's coming and do you want it? I don't think that that's too much to ask.
I'm curious as how it got put in there.
I have
Who
no
came up with the
idea.
idea that all of a sudden.
That's neither here nor there. If it's there now, it's planned to be paved. So how many people are on Collybrook Road? How difficult
I
is it
have
to
no
send
idea.
out?
We can send a letter to everybody, like I said.
Then why
It's-
don't we just do that? What?
And just let them know that it's gonna be paved through. You know, is that your, you know, if they don't want it, let them,
Yeah, but, see, that's the part where I'm getting to is, where somewhere along the line, somebody sat down together and said, this is a good idea. And I remember talking in planning and zoning, they were looking at having another east-west corridor
Mhm.
put in. So I'm wondering if somewhere along the line, that's why they decided to do this, so you have access to point A to point B. And there was talk that the terrain is just too difficult to do, but going all the way from, say, Tarsha over to
Wapawag,
Young Street.
the youngster.
That's
So
all.
we have a complete, because right now you just got these chutes that go down.
Yeah.
So if something were to happen, to get across, you gotta go a long way around.
but if that was the intent, shouldn't the public works guy, when you ask why is it being done, shouldn't there be some kind of
But
knowledge as to why it is
He
being done?
probably, I don't know if he was here when all those.
But shouldn't there be a
No.
file somewhere as to why they chose the roads that they did, and weren't they supposed to be in the worst, you know, shouldn't there be something there?
Well,
to
that's
say,
my
well,
question as to, was that part of the conversation and who made the decision and why? And when you come into late to the game like we weren't here when this project were decided, so we don't really know the answer or ask the question as to why are we doing this one all the way through.
But Mr. Hayden was the one that was very much in charge of this, and we've seen some of the other projects that Mr. Hayden
Well,
has done as well.
That particular section of Collybrook is the worst section of the whole road. I mean, it does this and turns back, so it's a tough road. I mean, for emergency vehicles especially to get through there, and you're right, developing the better east-west corridors is a prime concern.
And having had to put many students on buses and some of the issues that we've had on Tarsha and Wapawag, it would have been nice to have been able to go through that area, in all honesty.
Well, someone should know why
We
it's
have
done.
many roads that begin
Don't
but
go
never
anywhere.
connect. But again, maybe, unfortunately, Mr. Maniscalco, it's another homework assignment. I think you really need to ask Mr. Sissick to go through the files to see if we can unearth any information regarding the list, how it was developed, et cetera. Mr. Phil Howard brings up a very good point, as does Mr. Hintz, and at our next meeting, maybe we can then, once we have this information, begin to ponder what the most appropriate step will be. It would also be good to know, though, since they are putting asphalt down, what section of the road are they doing? And is it, hopefully, just the sections that are already asphalted?
Well, and that's the other thing, because if they have to now bring that road up to pure standard, how much more is that gonna cost, and is that a budgeted amount, or is the drain, as you said, it goes up, down, I mean, is that something that is going to require additional drainage, additional, catch basins, you know, all these things that aren't currently there? Was it done as a new, was that the intent? So it would be nice,
We'll see if there's a file.
You did mention 6.2% over budget,
Yes, sir.
and that got my attention. What is that in real dollars?
In real dollars, I believe it was
40,000?
about 70,000.
$70,000.
Yes. I'll get you the number.
Caused me to do a real hard look with get some estimates attached to Collybrook Road, because I could see you running over greatly on that one.
Last time.
Especially if it was never intended, you know, if it was an oversight.
Yeah, currently it's $76,000.
So unfortunately for you, Mr. Maniscalco, and for Mr. Sissick, you have homework.
That's
Unfortunately.
okay.
Alrighty. Anything else?
That's all I've got.
Oh, your lips are sealed already.
Yep.
Town council liaison reports. Anyone, we heard from Mr. Pfaffenbach, he gave us some insight into the evaluation of all of our facilities. Anything with the water committee?
We met.
Okay, we met.
Last Thursday, I had a presentation from the town of Marlboro as to their attempt to work with Connecticut Water to do a joint facility that turned out very poorly. So,
And what was that town again?
Marlboro.
Marlboro, okay. All right.
And so,
The Fire Commission is holding a workshop excuse me, workshop tonight to review, consider, and deal with the, was it HLN report, is that the one?
JLN.
JLN.
Close.
Okay. So they're pulling up their sleeves and going to work on that. So
Good.
many things have already been answered, but they're
Good.
continuing on.
Anyone else? I did have an opportunity to attend the Commission on Aging meeting, and a couple things came up, and it appears that they could very well become budgetary issues if in fact the commission so desires to send that information on to, I'm assuming probably would go to Mr. Maniscalco. They talked about the senior center and the fact that there is no security alarm system there, and the Commission on Aging, certainly the consensus from the Commission on Aging is that they would certainly like that considered in the next budget season. They also talked about a situation where there are some doors that need to be closed but could very well be opened if in fact they had magnetic door holding devices on them. And the fact that the doors are closed makes it very difficult for seniors to be able to get in and out of that large gathering space. So those are two things that I have a sneaking suspicion will probably come your way to consider for the 2015-16 budget. It was a very interesting meeting. I enjoyed sitting there, and I learned a great deal from the members of that commission. They're a hardworking group, and they have a good number of things, including a strategic planning session that they're preparing. That'll be up and coming, and I'm looking forward to attending that. I believe it's going to be on the 22nd of October. Location to be determined. All right. Anything else? Very good. Appointments. No appointments. Oh, but we have some tax refunds.
motion to pay.
Alrighty, is there a second?
Second.
A motion is made and second to approve the tax refunds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We are now going to have our opportunity, our second opportunity tonight to hear from the public. Please, I dare remind you that we would like you to keep your thoughts to 3 minutes. We also would encourage you to, when you rise, to speak clearly, give us your name and your address so that we can account for it in the minutes. And with that in mind, this young lady also wanted to volunteer to get in the bucket truck and check out the antenna outside, because she was getting all excited when you were talking about the bucket truck. But yes, ma'am, please rise and share with us your name and your address.
My name's Christine Colbert. I live on 176 Young Street. And like 50 years ago, this is all to do with the lake. And maybe a silly question, I don't know. Back then, lake was clean, turned over twice a year, you had fish. Doesn't that help the water to keep it clean? The fish eating all those nasties in there?
A walleye.
Right, it was just because I know they stocked it for all them years, and all the time I spent it, turned over twice a year, and that was it. You know, I'm just wondering if that has an effect on what's happening now.
Are we still doing the walleye?
Yes,
Yes.
we stock it.
Yeah.
No, she's talking about trout, they stock trout,
Used to.
back then.
Oh, well,
They don't
I
do
know
it
it's
anymore.
fish, and I thought about the lake they clean, so.
Very good.
Okay, thank you very much.
No trout left.
Anyone else have it? Yes?
Mike Rich, 64 Long Crossing Road. I'd just like to thank the members of the council, Mr. Maniscalco, members of the Board of Finance, Ted Turner, Mary Ann, for moving forward on the repair of the culvert on Long Crossing Road. So, I'll stay in touch with Mr. Maniscalco as far as how quickly that progresses on the repair, and hopefully we can get something done before the snow flies. And one other comment, as far as the road project, the machine that the company uses to mill the road, because they're working on Long Crossing Road, has broken down a week ago last Monday morning, and there has been no progress on any of the work on Long Crossing and Baldwin's Crossing.
Okay.
Increase that 6.2.
Any other comments? Yes. Oh, we've got a couple. Yes.
Karen R. Johansmeyer, 16 Penny Corner Road, Portland, Connecticut. You know what I'm all about. I'm East Hampton, 3rd Connecticut Regiment of Fifes and Drums, and I had participated at the Big E on Connecticut Day with the company of fifers and drummers, and I have some pictures that was taken by an East Hampton resident that made it up with 2 busloads of people from the senior center, of which was one of the topics of discussion this evening. They participated, and any of you that would like to see these 2 pictures that I have at the conclusion of the meeting, you're welcome to take a look. And it's a nice fair representation of the state of Connecticut. And 18, 17 corps on average, 48 to 52 individuals marched up and down the fairgrounds. And you're welcome to see them.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes, Mary Ann Dostler. I was just wondering if there is an update on the water line for the Historic Society?
Sure. Yeah, the water line is across the street. I believe if they haven't made it to the building yet, they should be there in not too distant future. I believe the amount of ledge caused for about a $6,800 overrunning cost.
Do you know if the water will be running in time for the Harvest Fest that is scheduled for October 3rd?
I do not know that. I could find out.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Thank you. Melissa Jebrin, I'm your state representative, and I reside in East Haddam, but grew up, of course, on Tarsha Road. I just wanted to come here tonight to kind of report back. I had a special opportunity today to accompany your limnologist on Lake Pokinipog when he did his monthly testing. And I found it very insightful and very rewarding and educational. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I understand he's going to be doing that for another maybe 2 months until winter will take over. He shared a lot of insight with me. I really learned a lot about some of the struggles that this body of water is facing, and primarily, as you've already discussed, the watershed being so different and diverse. But I wanted to also give a shout out to your Public Works Director. I understand he's making significant headway in dealing with some of the culverts in that area, which of course lead to runoff. And you know, one of the things we talked about going forward was doing some mapping of what the town has already accomplished on their own, so that when you go for additional possible state funding or grants, we can point to things the town has already kind of checked off that list. I understand you had 76 recommendations. Some of them have been done, some of them have not been done. But I just wanted to let you know that, you know, certainly I'm paying attention, and I'll be certainly really paying attention next year to the budgetary cycle and working with anybody if we can help get some funding forward to actually implement some of the recommendations, not necessarily create more studies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don't see any other hands, so we'll move on.
We do have one
Oh,
more.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
I've got a little problem here. I have a couple of houses. I'm trying to sell one of them. I can't sell it because the town says it's worth a lot more than what the realtors or anybody else say it's worth.
Now, I could have missed it, but did you give us your name and
My
address?
name is Clifton Colbert. Sorry about that.
Okay, and,
176 Young Street, East
all right,
Hampton.
thank you. I thought I could have missed it, so that's,
Anyway, the properties, that's one of the properties. I've been in the house for 5 years. I built the house. I built it an economical house, cheap house to live in. I hurt my back, I was gonna sell it. So I built another new house on near the bottom of Walls Hill, or Rosini Hill now. I trashed the house that was there and I put a new house in. So I tried to sell one of the houses. And the realtor companies and everybody else is telling me that these houses are over assessed by 50,000. So I can't sell them. Because nobody wants to buy a house that's over assessed or overvaluated for what they really are worth. So that's a major problem for me. Now I have 2 houses, I can't sell either one of them. Well, I'm stuck here. I need somebody to step into this job. I feel we're fighting with these people, trying to be nice with them. They keep giving me all kind of little excuses and this and that. I don't wanna hear this or that. I need a problem fixed here, so I can get rid of one of these houses. I'm just a little guy. I can't afford to have these things sitting there and waiting. I gotta get rid of one of them. I don't know if you can help me or what I gotta see to help me. I figured this was a start.
If
What
the
I
chair
was-
will let me, maybe if Mr. Colbert wants to come to my office, we can talk
Okay,
about
well,
it.
we could do that.
Yeah.
When, Thursday, Friday?
Whenever you're free. Why don't I have Kathy reach out to you?
I don't
We'll
know
set
where
up-
you are, who you are, really.
Town manager
Town
for the
manager.
town. I'll have Kathy reach out to you and we'll set up a meeting for the two
Okay.
of us. And we'll figure out what's going on with your houses.
Okay,
All right?
appreciate it,
Yeah.
thank you.
anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. I don't know, I don't have any additional communication, correspondence, or announcements. So,
Motion to adjourn.
a motion is made.
Second.
A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So carried. Thank you very much. Have a great night.